Many people know about anxiety, but they tend to assume that it's an umbrella term when in actual fact there are many different types that have varying effects on an individual. One of the most common types of anxiety is GAD, or Generalized Anxiety Disorder. This occurs in around 43% of all people worldwide and also affects 5% of the population of the United Kingdom alone. That may not seem like a whole lot, but that's about 3.4 million people out of a total 66 million. Now, it's all good me telling you these statistics, but what actually is GAD? More specifically, how can you tell if you may have it? People with GAD generally experience some of these following symptoms. They tend to overthink situations such as ordering food or organizing things. This leads to them creating an unrealistic view of their problems. Restlessness or trouble sleeping are very common symptoms for many people with any form of anxiety. This can lead to them becoming over-fatigued and physically drained. To help you better understand how someone with generalized anxiety disorder would act, I've constructed a story to put you in the shoes of someone diagnosed with GAD. This figure represents you, a blank-faced person, with no physical features. Now then, I'm not saying this is literally you. I just feel this figure design makes it easier for people to see themselves as this rather than someone who doesn't look like them. So it's late, you've spent the last few hours of the day revising for a test you have before lunch the next day. You don't know the specifics of the test, and you are nervous, as it covers everything you've done so far in the year. While you lay staring at the ceiling, you run over it in your head again. You do it once more. You do it until you feel you get something wrong, so you check your notes again. This back and forth continues for some time until you finally decide it's time for you to sleep. You can't. Hours go by and there isn't a second you aren't thinking about it until eventually you sleep. By the time sunlight rises, you're awake again. You had only been asleep for a few hours and were being extremely cautious of the time. You rushed to catch the earliest bus you could, but to your dismay you find it leaving on your arrival. Now, left set out in the cold, waiting 30 minutes for the next bus. People keep passing in and out with the occasional glance at you. You feel your eyelids becoming heavier, you blink slow, and you let your mind wander. In the back of your mind, you hear yourself saying, if I fall asleep now, I'll miss the bus and I'll just be left here with no way to take the tests, and the several sleepless nights will be worthless. And with this you spring up hearing the roar of your bus arriving. Throughout the first few hours of the day, you find yourself not paying attention to the subject of the actual lesson, and are secretly going through the notes that you brought with you but not really being able to retain the information. The time has come for you to take the test. By this point you feel mentally drained, but you power through, answering every question to the best of your abilities. Each question is harder than the last, taking more and more energy to complete. A few weeks fly by, you manage to get a semi-decent sleep schedule and pay attention in lessons. After a while you begin to forget about the test, until you get your results back. It turns out that you didn't fail and got higher than the grade you were aiming for. So if you can relate to this story that is definitely not based on actual events, you could potentially have some kind of GAD, but please don't take that from me or self-diagnose. If you feel you may have GAD, it would be best to find someone well-versed in psychology and with the proper skill set to do an official and professional diagnosis.